Welcome in. Thanks for stopping by again on such short notice. Today we've got another edition of IDP. Got a little something for everyone to, hate on. Got some psychedelic garage rock, a bit of shoegaze slash dream pop, some indie pop, maybe you call it bedroom pop, and some jangle pop in the mix as well. Definitely feel free to help yourself to a beer. This is what I'm having. I'm going to butcher the name. It's Khun Plai Kaew. It says Thai Craft Pale Ale. Up until somewhat recently, there wasn't a lot of craft beer available here that due to some, weird laws. Anyway, feel free to grab one of these if you'd like. But you can help yourself to anything else as well. You know the drill. Let's get started. First up, we have, I think this is the 4th studio LP by this band. It's a band out of Sydney, Australia. It's a quartet. Go by the name Straight Arrows. And this album, which I believe is their 4th, is called Surface World, out on Rice's Nice, Agitated, and Lolipop records. So this is fuzzed out guitar, lo-fi, psychedelic, garage rock. Some people would say garage punk. Definitely that retro 60s garage rock vibes. Like I say, lo-fi. The vocals are kind of heavily, I don't know if you'd say processed or just kind of stylized in a certain way. Garage with a bit of maybe early power pop like vibes in there as well. This one was recorded in 2 days, I believe, like straight to tape, has a kind of raw energy and an immediacy that I think it just sort of works for me. Lots of fuzz. You'll also get the hand, 60s pop hand claps. A lot of layers, and I think because it's lo-fi, it kind of has a certain kind of atmosphere to it. I think maybe fans of someone like Ty Segall might dig this. Like garage rock heads that aren't afraid of modern music might dig into this as well. I definitely don't hate it. Worth checking out. Band, like I say, out of Sydney, Australia. They go by the name Straight Arrows. And the album is called Surface World. I'm noticing around where I live here, and I know this exists in other places, but so maybe it's just that I'm completely out of touch, which is very possible. But there's these places that are like record stores, but they're also a bar that only plays vinyl albums, or there'll be a coffee shop that's also a record store. There's all these like combo type places. I believe I've seen people show or talk about other places similar to this. It seems like this is very common around my area. There's a bar, like walking distance from where I am, where they only play vinyl albums on a really nice sound system, and they play everything front to back. So they play the full album, and they do like kind of themed nights or events. For instance, they did the 30th anniversary of Portishead's Dummy, and so they play that in its entirety, and then other Portishead records, and then other albums in a similar vein in this bar setting. And it also has kind of a little ad hoc record store also involved with it. I don't know, it's just something I noticed here that I guess I didn't notice before, although I know they exist. All right, next up, this is sophomore LP, band out of New York City, but members from all over the place. Go by the name Gift. And the album is called Illuminator. It's out now on Captured Tracks. There's another band called The Gift. They've been around, I don't know, for like 30 years. They're from Brazil. But this band is not The Gift. It's just Gift. And it's all in caps. So it's like Gift, like it's like you're yelling Gift, but just Gift, not The Gift. So these guys formed in the great year of 2020. Really, a really wonderful year. Like I say, this is their second LP, although it's their first on Captured Tracks, and I believe the first LP was less of a band effort and more of like a solo effort, to my understanding. This is kind of your psychedelic dream pop or more dancey shoegaze, perhaps, a la someone like Chapter House. Also has elements of UK acid house, like Happy Mondays, but it also blends a lot of other more modern sounds into the mix, and that includes like really like modern pop. It has a modern pop sheen, almost somewhat of a modern pop production value, or hints of it, at least shades of it. Someone like the band M83 kind of comes to mind to me. Yeah, so kind of on paper, I feel like I should like this a little more than maybe I do in practice, because I'm not entirely sold on this myself. But I do think that other people out there might really enjoy this more than I do. This also might be a case where, because this just came out, it might be a case where maybe I come back to this in a few weeks and I like it more, although I'm really not sure. I just kind of find myself a little bit indifferent on it overall. Like I say, the band is called Gift, all caps, so you're screaming Gift. And then the name of the album is Illuminator, out now on Captured Tracks. The first time I've had this. Pretty good. All right, next, the lo-fi minimal indie pop / indie folk duo called the Softies are back with their fourth LP and their first LP since the year 2000. It feels like almost like a quarter century ago. Those unaware, the Softies features kind of indie legend Rose Melberg of the bands Tiger Trap, Go Sailor, and many other bands. She's also released a handful of great solo LPs as well. This is really the Softies as you will remember them, almost without skipping a beat, just the continuation of what they have been doing. So dreamy, beautiful harmonies, Rose's almost whispered kind of lead vocal style, and all that on top of fairly minimal instrumental arrangements. Really a lovely album. I think fans of the Softies' earlier LPs will find this one, just kind of fits like a glove. You're just right back in the saddle again. The Softies are definitely fall into the like a twee category, and that's certainly not for everyone. But people who are fans of this, I think, will not be disappointed. The Softies new album called The Bed I Made. I don't even think I said that earlier. It's the Softies, The Bed I Made. It's out now on Father-Daughter Records.
Won't fix this broken heart of mine. And there is no car that can drive fast enough to escape this love. As soon as I had a place to go, I went. There's gotta be more to love than discontent. I always knew.
Next, we're keeping it on the twee side. This is a group out of Olympia, Washington. It's their third LP as the artist named Guidon, I think Guidon Bear. And this album is called Internal Systems. It's out on Antiquated Future Records. Guidon Bear features Mary Water on lead vocals. She was in Little Red Car Wreck. It also features Pat Maley, who was also in Little Red Car Wreck. It also did work with Lois Maffio in the band Lois, and the band Courtney Love, not the person Courtney Love, but the band Courtney Love. I've been listening to this one for a few weeks now. I think just this week it's finally kind of clicked in for me, and I'm really enjoying it. Has a lot of vintage, almost like vintage synths, and then almost like toy keyboards. Has an extremely like DIY, homemade, indie pop / bedroom pop vibe. Definitely twee. Mary's vocals and the lyricism kind of work for me. I like the vocals kind of speak to me, especially as I've listened to it over time. I think if you can't get down with the vocals, it's just gonna probably, the album as a whole is probably not gonna work. It's such a prominent part of the record, really. And there definitely is some subject matter in the lyrics I think will turn some people off, even if they do otherwise like it. But that's not the case for me. Anyway, another twee indie pop type thing. Guidon Bear. Album is called Internal Systems. It's out now on Antiquated Future Records.
I watch this TV screen. I watch this telephone screen. Hoping to meet someone like me. Searching for someone with worse problems than me. What do I find? There's an iron rod that burns so hot inside me. Fills my left side with a scorching animal heat. And as it turns around, my insides started smoking. An unbearable rising colorless ash heap. When you close the door, sparks fly from the floor, and I'm so thankful for a chance.
All right, next we have the second LP, the sophomore LP for the San Francisco band started by Andy, whose last name I can't say, Andy from the bands Sea Blight, Cruel Summer, Pink Films. This is his project. It's kind of become more of a band, I think, but I think that he primarily does all of the studio recording. I could be wrong. Go by the name Chime School, and this album is called The Boy Who Ran the Paisley Hotel, and it's out now on Slumberland Records. So I'm a pretty big fan of Chime School. I'm a pretty big fan of the debut self-titled album. I kind of consider that something of a instant classic in the modern kind of jangle pop world. This one was also recorded at home by Andy, but it still feels more elaborately produced than the debut album. It feels way more produced than the Guidon Bear album that I just talked about. It doesn't feel like a home recording. Yeah, I'd say a more diverse set of sounds here throughout the album as opposed to the debut album. but there's still significant signature jangly guitar assault pretty much throughout the whole album. If you're not down or you're sick of jangle pop in general, this is one you're going to completely want to avoid. Primary influences here are your underground kind of UK indie pop going back, into the late 80s, early 90s. You can certainly hear things like Sarah Records, The Smiths, Teenage Fan Club, super early Primal Scream, Shop Assistants, The Byrds, etc., etc. Like I say, more textured, diverse, perhaps somewhat diverse set of songs versus the debut, but still super infectious, really catchy tunes. Some of the songs are, there's a handful of songs that are a little bit slower, but most of it is upbeat. For me, it's an extremely satisfying half hour of music. I listened to it 4 times. It was just released. I think perhaps even people that didn't fully get on board with the first Chime School record might find this album to be more to their liking, just because the breadth is a little bit wider, while still remaining very it's weird as this sounds, the breadth is wider, but it still feels somewhat more focused than the debut record. Chime School, this is the second LP by Chime School, called The Boy Who Ran the Paisley Hotel, out now on Slumberland Records. And this one has earned the coveted douche seal of approval. Cheers.
If you're curious or confused, get information or a pamphlet at most pharmacies or a health clinic. If you need help, see a doctor.
Plai, Kaew,